By clicking on this video, you agree to the terms and conditions that you like Pokemon. So consider subscribing, leave a like, and I really hope you enjoy the show. Hey there! I'm here to give you my opinions, possibly crappy opinions, on Pokemon. In my first video that I made, I talked about the Pokemon that I felt like I was alone in liking, and wanted to see if I could find some other people out there. But this week, the exact opposite. If you'd like to watch the first video, you can click the icon up in the top corner or in the link down in the description below. I would like to say these are just all my opinions, and I don't actually hate these Pokemon, because I like Pokemon as a whole, and in general, I can't say that I hate one for a real reason, I guess. But these are more just Pokemon that are at the very bottom of the list. So please bear with me, because I'm sure that there are Pokemon in my first video that you will absolutely not like. Starting off with number 1, Lucario. My main in Brawl all the way back in middle school. Thanks to the Gen 4 games and the movie Lucario and the Mystery of Mew that came out a few years prior. But as all good things must come to an end, the internet? Years later, the internet taught me the definition of anthropomorphic, that some Pokemon just can't be Googled anymore, and that my eyes will never be the same. I'm still hunting for an eye doctor to remove the images that have been burned into my eyes. And before you say I could've used safe search or something like that, the feature only existed in 2009, which is slightly after Brawl released and whatnot, and was only available on Google accounts. An account that I did not own until I was in high school and had my own computer, because for some reason my parents used Yahoo and I was dumb enough to also follow them for some reason. Plus my brain was the size of a Joltik and I wasn't on the internet as often, and I still had to learn the rules and how to survive on it. Pokemon number 2 on this list is gonna hit kinda hard for me and possibly a lot of other people. It's Garchomp. I thought you were the coolest Pokemon in the world after fighting Cynthia for the first time in the original Gen 4 games, and continuing to fight her over the years and slowly learning that I also don't mind calling more than one person mommy. Sadly though, not only did the switch to 3D kick this Pokemon from its throne off the list of favorites with its rough skin supposedly, all until Scarlet and Violet made way better textures, but the passage of time had already taken its toll, just like how it had with Charizard and Pikachu for the majority of the community. They just became boring and stale, along with new Pokemon getting released and just having more interesting designs and lore. Third Pokemon on this list is Zorwart. I want to like this Pokemon more than I do, especially since foxes are my favorite animal, dark is one of my favorite types, it comes from my favorite region, and I love the concept and its ability. But when I look at this Pokemon's color scheme, I hear a voice in the back of my head that makes me feel things that I can only describe as disappointing. It's finally time to talk about some new Pokemon. We're into Gen 9 and that's what the last 2 Pokemon are. And the first one, number 4 on the list, is Tinkaton. I have a couple problems with this Pokemon. One being its design. The whole evolutionary line looks like living Play-Doh creatures to me, and the artwork just doesn't really do it for me either. Second question and problem, how is it holding a giant metal hammer? I know the size of the hammer is meant to be comedic, but how is it holding the hammer without bursting into flames? Fairy's weakness to steel comes from myths and legends of fey creatures being weak to materials like steel and iron. Obviously, the pair typings of Fairy and Steel take that weakness and just make it a neutral problem. However, how did the type get added to the line in the first place? Is it just from the hammer? Or is it from whatever these weird little things are on their bodies? For all I know, it could literally just be the hammer, or Tinkaton and the whole line are just metal as hell, and they're just natural born masochists. The second Pokemon from Gen 9 and the last Pokemon for this episode is Iron Valiant. I know a lot of you are gonna flame the hell out of me for saying that I don't like this Pokemon, but I have my reasons why, but let me explain. I don't hate the Futuremons, I just feel that they were very low effort and very disappointing. especially with the shinies making me even more sad and angry, with the only redeeming one being Iron Bundle. Shout out to Shady Penguin, you got lucky. So what does Iron Valiant have to do with this? It has elements of both Gardevoir and Gallade to look different. Well, Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold is why. And if you don't know what that show is, it's an old-ish show from like the late 90s to early 2000s, where this girl just bullied the heck out of this boy. Every time I see Iron Valiant's face, I just see the pigtails, and I see her, and it just feels like it's gonna walk up to me and scream, "Move it, football head!" And from what I remember, it was like flirtatious bullying. And I'm not liking where it's going with that robot. Also, on top of not really liking the futuristic designs all that much and how they turned out, I'm also just not the biggest fan of humanoid Pokemon in general. I'm really sorry. And that's gonna make it to the end of this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I know I said it at the beginning with the intro, but please consider subscribing and like the video if you enjoyed. And hey, share it as well with your friends to help grow the channel. I really appreciate it, and it will help out. Hope you have a great day and have an awesome time catching Pokemon. Bye!